Hi everyone, today we're looking at whether or not God does ever forget us. Thus says Yahweh, in a time of favor I have answered you. On a day of salvation I have helped you. I have kept you and given you as a covenant to the people, to restore the land, to reassign the desolate heritages. Sing for joy, O heavens, and exult, O earth. Break forth, O mountains, into singing. For Yahweh has comforted his people and will have compassion on his suffering ones. But Zion said, Yahweh has forsaken me. The Lord has forgotten me. Can a woman forget her nursing child, or show no compassion for the child of her womb? Even these might forget, yet I will not forget you. See, I have inscribed you on the palms of my hands. Your walls are continually before me. This passage always kind of makes me chuckle because, Isaiah asked this rhetorical question about a woman forgetting the child that's nursing. And, when my son was a baby, he's, almost 10 now, there was a point when we had people over and she was actually nursing him at the time and had him covered up. And she just looked around at one point and my wife said, like, hey, where's George? And everyone looked at her like, he's right there. So the answer is yes, a woman can forget. But we kind of have the same question about God. Does God forget us? Is God with us? In fact, this passage seems a little out of order because it starts by God saying, yes, I've answered you. I'm with you. I'm taking care of you. But then they say, well, no, it seems like you've forsaken us. You've forgotten us. So maybe there's a sense in which before we ask, God is already addressing what we're going through. That doesn't mean that we never experience suffering or that it just immediately goes away. But before we ask, God is at work somehow, even in the midst of the various things we suffer. This part of Isaiah is part of what are called the servant songs. And very often the voice is speaking up from this servant who really at the time represented Israel. When it says that the servant is given as a covenant for the people. That's a way of talking about how Israel was meant to bless the rest of the world. And of course, they often fell short, and that's why they ended up in the situation they were in. And so it's very common for us as Christian readers to go back and look at these servant songs and see Jesus in them. And maybe that points us towards the final note of this passage, this mysterious way in which God says we are inscribed on his palms, right? It's not just your names are on my hands so I can, look down and not forget you. It's we ourselves somehow are on God's hands. And so I don't know about you, but that makes me think of Christ, that even now, because of what he suffered on our behalf, we have marked his body forever. So no matter what we're enduring, we are never forgotten.